Okay, let's start today with something just a bit different of bringing into our mind's eye the beauty of the sunshine that we experienced yesterday and we're going to experience today. The warmth, the feeling of the rays of the sun and the warmth of the sun wrapping itself around us as we embed that feeling in our being, in our body. Almost like a caricature of the sun with a smiling face and the rays as arms holding us close, but with the temperature control that we're not getting burned by the sun, we're not getting harmed by the sun. Instead, it's wrapping itself around us, infusing us with that vitamin D that we need, and just the happiness and warmth of a beautiful sunny day. And as we do that, we feel it deep in our bodies, deep in the body, because our bodies and minds are so closely connected. And when we embody something, it sticks with us because it becomes part almost of our cell system. And so sometimes we embody negative things. Sometimes we have an embodiment of challenging thoughts and challenging emotions. And unless we're making that mind body connection, it's going to just rest there in our body. So we want to have an anecdote to that, or an antidote to that. The antidote being the embodiment of sunshine with its rays wrapped around us. The antidote, knowing that our minds are capable. There might be roadblocks in the way. There might be challenge after challenge building like blocks within us. And so we search for different antidotes that are there, like the sunshine, like being able to just drop into our breath. Because that stopping and dropping is grounding us. So when we feel our minds or our emotions carrying us down a path we don't want to go, we sit and we ground. Feet flat on the floor, noticing our thighs and our buttocks on the chair, or maybe we're lying down on a bed. But we are noticing our bodies grounded into wherever we are positioned. We might notice our backs against the chair. We might notice that our hands are resting in our laps. We might also notice that we have our hands clasped. And unless we are intentional about our grounding, that clasping of the hands can increase our tension. Because we are clasping tighter and tighter, holding firm that we have to think about this or we have to feel this. We're actually creating almost a duty feeling in our minds, as if we are duty bound to hold that tension, to hold that thought, to hold that emotion. But in fact, when we make the mind-body connection, we realize that we can, in fact, let it go. We can unclasp our hands, uncross our feet. We can notice our body. We could do a full body scan, or we can just do a very gentle but quick scan. What's happening in my body right now? And even when the thoughts are dark and cloudy, we can find the grounding that's going to give us that trust that we can move forward, trust that we can get through this. There is no need for us to say that we trust that we're going to get through it and it's going to take 1 minute or 1 hour. It might take a long time. But we can do it when we are intentional. And so as we scan our bodies from the tips of our feet, tips of our toes, up our feet, all aspects of our feet, up to our ankles where we notice that connection between our feet and our legs, further up into our calves and our shins, our kneecaps, the bend in our knees, our thighs, our buttocks, our lower and upper abdomen, around behind as we go up our spine, 1 vertebrae at a time. Down both of our arms, all the way to our fingertips, and back up. To our necks. And continue the journey up the spine, again, the remaining vertebrae. Up the back of our head to the crown of our head and down the front into the forehead. The eyes, the eyeballs and eye sockets, the sinuses, the jaw. Down our throat and neck into our chest. And all the way down to our heart center. And when we reach that heart center, we imagine the beating of our hearts, the life-giving force. The power that the heart has for us. The power to keep us alive and the power to let us feel. And sometimes it is that feeling, that power of the heart that can cause us concern because our feelings run so deeply. And some of those feelings are challenging. But when we can remember they are simply feelings, they are sending us messages, a message to pay attention, a message to tell us to be where. What is the message? But we must be careful when we listen this closely that we don't become attached. We don't allow ourselves to feel nothing but that feeling or think nothing but that thought. We sit with the thought or feeling and we let ourselves know that this too shall pass. But we may have to go to the depths of it in order for it to really blossom, send us messages, and then go away. And so we trust. We learn the skill of trust. We trust that we have the inner wisdom. We trust that we have the power. And we can ground into that trust as we recognize that we are sitting or lying down. Our bodies are grounded. And we make the mind-body connection of whatever we are feeling or thinking. And there are times when we feel broken open. At first, it may feel like we are walking in a dark, dense forest where the light is almost non-existent, where we are treading carefully not to get tripped up by branches or stones or rocks or animals that may be somewhere in that forest. We don't know where they are, but we are always on the alert. But as we maneuver that path, stepping over the branches or stepping on them and crunching them under our feet, as we step over the rocks, or we feel the feeling of roughness from the pebbles under our feet, we still continue going forward, even in the darkness of the forest and the trees. But there is always going to be an end in sight. There is no forest anywhere that just keeps going. There's always an end to the forest. And as we ground our feet on the forest floor, we move forward. Sometimes it can feel like we're actually lost in the forest. There's no signs. There's no directions. There's no GPS. And we have no choice here but to be intentional, to be aware, and to trust that every step forward is leading us to the light. And while we may not know that when we get to the edge of the forest, whether we have gone the right path, we may not know that until we arrive. We may actually have stepped off of our path, stepped off of the direction we are meant to head, but still we move forward. Still we are aware of the rocks, the pebbles, the branches and the sticks. We are still aware, although not afraid, of whatever is living in the forest. And we keep going. As we move forward, we gradually see the light. The light is shining, calling us to keep going in that direction. And as we move forward, we start to see less and less trees. There are fewer rocks and fewer branches. And we have a strong feeling that whatever is living in the forest is behind us now. And so we continue, we keep going, and then we see the edge of the forest. And we pause and we look around. We turn to see where we have come from. And we see that in that forest, it appears to be quite dark. But we have trusted in ourselves, in nature, and in our own inner wisdom to find the edge of the forest. And when we get there, we may still have all of those feelings and thoughts. We may have shed some in our quest to find the light. Perhaps we picked up a few more. But we have made it to the edge of the forest, and now the light is there. And as we move forward in that light, we may, in fact, feel free of the trappings of the forest, the unknown, the fear of what's lurking. But there still may be some thoughts and feelings lingering. But as we continue on our journey in that light, suddenly we start to see people. People who are there to help us. People who are there to give us direction. To find our way home. And again, we must call on all of our trust. All of our trust that it is okay to ask these people for help. Asking for help is not a weakness. Asking for help is a strength. Because without the help, we are going to stay stuck. And for some, we get paralyzed. We can't move forward. And so we stand and we look around, wondering what to do, when in fact the help is right in front of us. And in order to receive that help, we have to trust that we are doing the right thing, that we are trusting the right person. And we must trust that the help that is being offered is for the greater good. Because we are all in relationship with many, many people. Family, friends, colleagues, people in your community, your neighbors, the people you see at the store. We are all in community. And if we allow ourselves to stay stuck, we can't be there for the greater good. We can't see that light because we are stuck in the forest, not being able to see the trees, to see the light, to see the small sprouts of flowers that are coming up, to see the splendor and feel the sun all around us. We can tell ourselves that asking for help is a sign of weakness because maybe that's something we have been told. Or at the very least, it's a message that we have received, no matter how unconscious. But when we ask for help and we allow ourselves to receive, we can begin to work through those thoughts and emotions. And that is for the greater good, because now we are available for each other. We allow our true selves to shine through. We don't have to stay with those feelings of shame or guilt that come with our old notion of asking for help, because that does not serve us. We are now aware that we were in fact stuck. And no one feels the shame or the guilt like we do. So we are in fact wasting those emotions, those feelings. We're wasting them on ourselves. Because the person who is there to offer guidance and help is not judging you. They are actually offering their help to you. And so we embrace it. We embrace that help. We embrace the knowledge that when we work at it with guidance and assistance, with the help of the sun and the trees, with the help of others. We can put one foot in front of the other and keep going. And so for the next few moments, we're going to sit with that imagery. Sit with the knowledge that we have all been through many, many trials. And they may be in our long past. They may be in our recent past. They may be happening right in this moment. But we are going to rest and sit in the knowledge that we are here in this moment. And we are alive and breathing, and our hearts are beating. And while we may not be able to watch the clouds dissipate right now in this moment, we have faith and trust that this is just a phase and that we will, in fact, move ahead. That we have the skills of proactivity, exercise, good food, healthy relationships, being in nature, and the openness to realize that whatever we need, we will access, because it is not only for ourselves, but for the greater good. To be in relationship, to help each other as we move forward. And so we'll sit in silence until you hear my voice again. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings find peace.